What's up, you guys? It's Cody. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're talking about 3 stocks I bought and the reasons why. I'm not going to hold you hostage. We're just going to jump right into it. First up on our list is going to be Callaway, ticker symbol ELY. Let's talk a little bit about why I bought this stock. Well, first off, honestly, I got into golf this year. This is one of the reasons I've been looking into these different golf companies. And I want to say that I got into golf and I never thought that I would. I got into it because my father-in-law is actually a really big golfer. And I thought, hey, this kind of, I don't know what the appeal is. People who love golf absolutely love it. They're diehards. People who don't like golf don't understand it, right? And so I was kind of on this other side where I'm like, I don't really understand what the lure is. But then as soon as I started playing, I really enjoy it. It's kind of nice to just get out on the course, spend a couple hours. You're out there by yourself. You got friends, you got your spouse, you got whatever. Just playing some golf, having a good time out in nature. Nobody's bugging you. You're getting a little bit of exercise. You're getting some sun. It's just a great time. And so I kind of finally realized that, and it started getting me into this space. And it got me kind of looking into the industry as a whole. And during that same exact time that I got into it, it was actually announced that Callaway was going to be buying out or merging with Topgolf, the company that does driving ranges for golf. It's kind of like the equivalent of a bowling alley, but for golf. It's the same exact thing with Topgolf. They already owned a minority stake in Topgolf, the company, but it was announced earlier in the fall that they're going to be completing this merger or buyout by early 2021. When this news first broke, the stock price of Callaway actually dropped pretty significantly and then has climbed back up ever since. I actually personally think this is a great play, and there's a few reasons why. So the first thing I love about Topgolf is that if you go to this particular place on a weeknight, right? You go on a Monday, you go on a Tuesday, you go on a Wednesday, whatever. Oftentimes I've been there in normal times, with the exception of like this pandemic crazy year. If you go on a normal time on a weeknight, there's a good chance you're going to still wait an hour, maybe an hour and a half just to get into a bay. If you go on a weekend, forget it. You're going to be waiting 2-3 hours. There's a very good chance you're going to be waiting. So this is one of those things where I noticed, hey, look, they're always busy. It's a great time, and they really know how to run a business. That when you get into that bay, they encourage you to stay and say, hey, do you want to extend for another 30 minutes? Do you want to extend for another 60 minutes? It's only this much. It's half price, whatever. They get you to stay once you're already there, and that's what kind of draws out these wait times and actually brings in a lot of business. They continue to grow and open up into new markets, and I think this is the perfect play for Callaway to come in and actually buy these guys out, or I should say merge with them, because they've got the opportunity to capture a new generation of potential golfers who don't necessarily identify as golfers. I think in one of the articles I read when I was looking into this very deeply said that about 49% of people who go to Topgolf do not identify as golfers. They're just your average everyday Joe, kind of similar to somebody who would go to a bowling alley. You just go for a good time. You go with your friends, you go with your family just to have a good time, hit a couple golf balls, have some laughs, have some drinks, some food, whatever, have a good time. So that's actually a really good way to break into this market, is to capture the people who might actually be interested in golf. And when when they take full ownership of this, you can bet they're going to put their products on the golf balls, on the golf clubs, on all the retail. They sell clothes, they sell like merchandise there at the Topgolf locations as well. You can bet all of that's going to be branded Callaway or Callaway-owned companies. They also own like OGO, and I think the other one's called Jack Wolfskin. I think it's a clothing brand. But they own all these companies, and you can bet that they're going to be branding that. And if somebody's interested in golf, there's a good chance they're going to buy that equipment as well. Everybody talks about how golf is a dying game, and yeah, if you look at the statistics, golf has been decreasing in popularity, but during this pandemic year, the number of golf rounds that have been played is actually up. I think it was about 15 to 20%. So it's actually increasing through this year. I don't know that it's going to stay that way through future years, but if it brings new people into the sport, I could see this continuing to be a great play, especially for this Callaway stocks. Topgolf also owns some golf technology, and they own an app that is a golf game, and they're making revenue from this as well. I think this is going to help them continue to break into the golf market by getting into different avenues, right? They've got revenue from the app, they've got revenue from this technology. It's called Toptracer, which actually tracks golf balls, how fast you're hitting it, how far you're hitting it, the arc of the golf ball, a lot of things like that. So I think there's some really good potential with those things as well. So that's the reason why I bought this stock this week, and I've got a pretty good outlook for them. I'm also got some long-term option plays on them as well. I wouldn't be surprised to see them hit $30 to $40 within the next couple of years. So pretty good play, even at their current price. I don't think it's gonna be the hottest stock in the market, but for me, I still really like it. The second stock that I bought this week was Shift Technologies. One thing that I've noticed is everybody always talks about how they hate going to the used car dealership because those used car salesmen are absolute sleazeballs, right? Everybody hates going to talk to them because they just jerk you around. They don't give you a straight answer. They tell you the car's great when it's really not. It's an absolutely terrible experience, right? Everybody hates it. Nobody says, oh, I love going to buy a used car, right? And so this is one of the reasons why I bought Shift Technologies. If you're not familiar with them, Shift actually sells cars online. They're a used car dealership, but they operate online. So you go onto their website, you can look at the car, you can find the year, the make, the model, you know, how many miles it has, what color it is, what the features are, and you look at this online. They've got great pictures on there. They show you pictures of all the dings, the dents, the scratches, and they'll show you the inside, they'll show you the outside. You know, they usually get like a Carfax report. They give you everything you need to know about this car, and then you decide if you want to take it for a test drive, right? And I have no reason to believe that they wouldn't be honest in what they're giving you. They're showing you, hey, here's the condition of the car. This is what you need to know about it. You submit an inquiry, and they'll actually bring the car to you for you to test drive, and then you can complete the paperwork there online to finish the purchase. So no used car salesman. You don't have to go to the dealership. You don't have to shop around in person or walk the lot when it's blazing hot or it's freezing cold. I mean, there's just so many possibilities with this. I think there's a lot of future potential with this. And looking at their main competitor, Carvana, which is the biggest in the space, they are just overbought. Their valuation on that is very expensive. And so looking at this one, it's a little bit more speculative, but I do think it has a little bit more potential. If they can break into additional markets and keep their margins good, I think this could be a great long-term company. One of my first concerns with this is, look, I don't know about buying a used car online, right? Like, I'm the type of person who wants to check it out. I want to check underneath the car. I look in the engine bay. I drive the car around. I'll gun it on the pedal. I'll hit the brakes really hard. I'll shift it. I'll do a lot of these things to kind of figure out how the car reacts. Is it working well? Is there any weird sounds coming from it? Is it working properly, right? And so when I look at used car, I kind of am like that guy. I want to look at it very in depth. But most people, I think, probably aren't. And at first thought, I thought, hey, if you told me 3 years ago, I would not have thought that I'd be buying a car online. However, I bought a Tesla earlier this year, and I bought that online, right? Never seen the car. Now, of course, that's a new car, so it's a little bit easier to do that. You basically go on there, select your model, select your trim package, select a color, and that's basically it. You just pay for it right there, right? But buying a used car is a little bit different. It's a little bit more involved, but I do think it's possible. And I do think that this younger generation that's coming into the age of buying cars, buying used cars, selling used cars, going through that whole process is going to want to do these things online. The thing I also like about being online is for these companies, they can buy, cheaper real estate to put a parking lot out there for their used cars. They don't need, to be in that prime real estate right there on State Street like most car dealerships have. This Shift Technologies, they could be out in the middle of nowhere paying for very cheap land to store their cars and then drive those cars in for the test drives and to sell them. So I see a lot of opportunity with this company. Like I said, I think it's a better play than Carvana just because this is a little bit cheaper stock. It is a little bit more speculative. There is a little bit more risk. They've got a long way to go. They've got a lot more markets to break into. So they've got a long way to go, but I do think there's potential there. Who knows? I think we'll, I think they could 2 to 3x over the next couple of years. We'll see. This is one of those plays where we're going to have to see. I'm at the point in this, my life where, hey, look, I'm looking for the more speculative stocks because I'm looking for higher gains. I'd rather take the higher risk and the higher reward. If I lose some money on it, I'm okay with that. I can bounce back. I'm not, retiring next year type of thing. So I'm looking for the high risk, high reward type stuff. As we jump into this third stock, give me a thumbs up here on the video if you're enjoying it so far, and consider sharing this video with a friend or a family member who might also find some value in the stocks that I'm buying if they're also interested in these companies. The third one that I bought this week was Tattooed Chef. This is a company that has seen a lot of pump from the YouTube community recently, and it's gotten a lot of hype. This is a company that makes innovative food products in mostly the plant-based food space. They do have some other food variations. They've got kind of, a unique line of food that they're actually selling, but I think that's kind of really where the play's at is some of their vegan options, because that's such a revolution right now. There's so many people and so many companies jumping into this space just because it's a healthier alternative. I'll be honest, actually, about a year ago, my wife and I actually did try the vegan diet for a little while. We just kind of wanted to try it out to see what it's all about, to see if we could do it, to see how hard it was, to see how we felt, health-wise. There was a lot of factors why we did it. And although we're no longer in that, in the vegan lifestyle, we only did it for probably about 2 months or so, just to try it out, see how we felt. Honestly, it was pretty hard to adapt to, but I think it was something that we did enjoy doing, and kind of saw some value in it. And so I think that this is kind of where having access to these foods that are a little bit easier to prep goes a really long way, because when you're in that vegan lifestyle, it's really hard to go out and eat. It's really hard to prep food. It's really hard to cook because you don't have as many options to actually choose from in order to get all the nutrients that your body needs. I think that having foods in this option where you can just throw them in the microwave or throw them in the oven or just kind of cook up something that's already a little bit prepped for you is a big appeal to this. Obviously, their main main competitor in their space is Beyond Meat, which is an absolute behemoth in the market right now and somebody that they definitely are going to have some competition with. But again, this is one of those lesser known companies that I think has a little bit higher reward and is, has honestly a better chance to double or even triple compared to a company like Beyond Meat, which has already, been overbought and is very well known in the space and has less of a chance of having a very good performance. Yes, Beyond Meat might be the, little bit safer play, but again, I'm looking for the higher risk, higher reward type plays. When it comes to this space in general, I will say that, hey, I think there's still a little bit of risk with these types of foods because I know that like with Beyond Meat burgers, there's some ingredients or some chemicals within the burger themselves, that they actually say is not that healthy for you, right? It might actually be worse for you than the actual meat. And, while that's true, I don't know. I don't know what the science says on that. It might be a couple more years. It might be true. It might be false. I don't know. I think that, my kind of personality and attitude towards that is like, look, if it's not the Beyond Meat burger that's going to kill me, it's going to be the car crash when I leave my office. And if it's not that, it's going to be the egg that I ate this morning. If it's not the egg, it's going to be the piece of cake I ate last night, right? So it's like, I don't know. That's kind of the way I look at it. It's like, nothing is going to be like 100% healthy for you when you put it into your body. It seems like there's always a downside to everything, no matter what. So obviously you try to be, as safe as you can, but with this space directly, I think there's still, there's still a lot of testing and science that needs to go into this as well. So I think that is kind of one of the risks to this industry overall, but I think they will get it figured out. So I'm not too worried about that, but just something I thought I should mention. So anyways, guys, with Tattooed Chef, I think this is a very unique proposition. I think as they continue to expand across the United States and into other international markets, I think they've got a long runway ahead of them. And I do think that there's a good potential they could double or triple over the next little while. I don't know, it might be a year, might be 2 years, but we'll see where it goes. That being said, that wraps up the 3 stocks that I bought this week. Thank you guys so much for watching. Give me the thumbs up here on the video if you enjoyed this content. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and make sure to check out my Patreon in the description below. I've got a link over to that. If you join and you're one of the first people to join, the first 20 people are going to get in for just $1 because you're an OG supporter, and I appreciate you supporting me and being able to grow that over there. I'm going to be releasing a ton of content in this next year for the Patreon members, and I'd love for you to check that out if you're interested. Like I said, you can get in for just $1 if you join right now, and I'm going to be releasing a ton of content that's, not exactly suited for YouTube in the sense that it's just like not the right format, right? It's going to be much more me kind of just speaking off the cuff, talking about real estate, stocks, money, mindset, entrepreneurialism, stuff like that. So anyways, go check it out if you're interested. And with all that being said, guys, I will catch you in the next one.